What about your hat?
The hat. The helmet?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
It's like cool, right? You like it?
Do you like the hat?
Yeah, I think the hat's pretty sweet.
Then cool.
What kind of super serum did you get?
I don't know, regular. Hydra.
Hydra? Oh, fancy. Mine was Soviet recreation, but it's still good, you know. We are the same, you and me.
Well,
I mean, we are different, but we are...
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Becky.
And this is going to be a spoiler-full podcast about the movie that's been out since May 2nd. So if you have not seen the Thunderbolts with the little star and from 2025, please stop the podcast, go see it. Unless you're like me and you don't care about spoilers, fine. Hang tight and listen to us and then go see it and then see what we liked about the movie. Obviously, in this one, I think both Becky and I will probably say we liked it. We can't really say anything really bad about it in any way.
Nope.
So with that, we'll move right in along. So just to give you an idea, brief synopsis for those who didn't go see it yet or are not familiar with it. The synopsis for the Thunderbolts 2025s is: ensnared in a death trap and an unconventional team of anti-heroes, Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, and John Walker embark on a dangerous mission that forces them to confront the darkest corner of their pasts.
Legitimately.
Now, that is a part of it. There is, but they have a common goal, which is so cool.
Yes.
And then we'll go into the story part of it and what we liked about it, because that really follows through with it. Because unlike a lot of the other movies that came out from Marvel for the past 3 years, this actually gave a good story and a plot and character build. So I really did enjoy it. Becky, you enjoyed it, right?
I did enjoy it. And I want to say, if anyone listened to our Daredevil coverage, you know, I don't know everything that there is about Marvel. But if you haven't seen all the Marvel movies and aren't up to date, still go see this movie, because you don't. I know there were a few nods and some things that I missed here and there that did make me want to. You were right. Mark told me before we started this, once I watched this movie, I was going to want to go back and see everything else. But don't let that hold you back from watching the movie, because even though I didn't know a lot of these characters and didn't understand some of the side jokes and other things, it was still phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it.
They really did well with this. The movie came out May 2nd, so of this year, and the director was Jake Schreier. The running time for this movie is 2 hours and 6 minutes, everybody, but that's no different.
It didn't feel like it.
It worked out in the sense that you were so entertained, you didn't really feel that the time was that long, and it just flew by. And that shows what a real MCU movie does to you, because you're like, wait, that we were in there that long? Yeah. So that was pretty cool about it. And the story was done by Eric Pearson. Obviously, the rating was PG-13, like most Marvel films. So the only one to this date that was rated R, obviously, everybody, Deadpool, Wolverine.
Yeah, rightfully so. Which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But I know Deadpool, and he's definitely R-rated.
Yeah, he is. But that was before, and that was something that Ryan Reynolds had worked with Disney to make that happen. Because in my opinion, and it still is my opinion, it is an MCU movie, Deadpool Wolverine, but it is a standalone Deadpool movie because of the cursing and the amount of violence and blood and everything in it, and the dirty humor in it. So it's not a family-oriented movie. This one could be a family-oriented movie. The only difference is the extreme violence with guns. So if you have kids and you want to stop them from watching a movie that has a lot of heavy gunplay and killing and stuff like that, this is not the movie for them. but use your best judgment as a parent. The movie, come May 12th, it made an additional $32 million after its grossing $76 million during its domestic opening weekend.
Wow.
So this was the third highest debut for the year for a lot of the films that are out there. Globally, it earned so far an estimated $162.1 million. So the Marvel film, The Thunderbolts, had a production budget of $180 million, but with any movie, it had an additional $100 million spent on marketing and advertising. So technically, you add that together, that's $280 million. But for them to make bank after this, usually you have to double overall everything. So if they can make $600 million, then I don't think they're going to make $1 billion like certain Marvel films have before, because they have done it close to $1 billion. If it makes that 600 million mark, I think they're in the clear, and it became profitable. So think about that. Rob's not on now, but he's usually the one that talks about this stuff when it comes to how a movie is measured on its success. But I think the movie itself was successful with what they gave us story-wise, character arc-wise, where it stands in the MCU, where we're going. And I think this is the first footprint, as it were, from Marvel after Deadpool Wolverine, to get its footing back into how we look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe and where it was and how it came to end come Endgame and No Way Home. And I think they're getting a good footing, because honestly, we're getting the Fantastic Four come July, and I'm looking forward to that, because
And there was a nod to that in
the post-credit scenes,
yeah, which I did understand. I was
Awesome.
I was very proud of myself.
But that was also very humorous, and it was fun, though, and that's what I liked about it. And with that, we'll talk about the first person. We know him, David Harbour, as Alexei Shostakov. Yeah, Harper from Stranger Things, and obviously, if you don't know who he is and you've not ventured into it, he plays the Crimson Guardian. And within this particular movie, we pick up with Alexei after the Black Widow movie in the film. But with the first conversation he has with Yelena, they have seen each other within the past year. Like, it's been about a year since they last saw each other. Black Widow was before the snap, everybody, for those who didn't know. But apparently Yelena has been in touch with her father, or should I say adoptive father. So he now lives in Baltimore, according to according to Yelena, even though he says it's Washington D.C. He has his own limo business, and typical Alexei, he talks more bravado about his stuff, and he wasn't working for other projects and everything. It was just him trying to impress his daughter with all his Red Guardian Russian paraphernalia behind him and his posters and everything, if you ever saw the apartment, and how dirty Alexei is, how messy he is as a person. It's so funny. And then he has his own limo business, as I said, which is funny because of how it plays in the movie, and became what I purchased, which is a great popcorn bucket for AMC theaters to put out. It's a metal long limo that you put your popcorn in.
That's cool. I remember you telling me about that, and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, now you do. After watching the movie, and it became like a focal point, but it's the humor focal point based on Alexei and how he is. Next up, we have
Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. And let me tell you, Florence Pugh killed it.
Yeah,
I've seen her on a lot of talk shows promoting this movie that I have on during the day. And like, yeah, she's cute. Okay, whatever. But I don't think I've really paid much attention to her acting career. But wow, amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
The story starts off with Yelena and her affiliation with Allegra and her jobs and her doubting what she is doing, asking her adoptive stepfather from that mission years ago for advice with where she's going, and she's doubting Allegra and working for her. And
Yeah.
she really sold every bit of that. She
And
sold it so
she's
well.
the first person we see in the film and frame, and it's her story. So I think this was more of or less of getting her being a team leader within the Thunderbolts or the New Avengers, everybody. For those who didn't get to see it, they at the very end they coined that phrase, which is so funny. But I think this was like building on her character and her being more of a team leader, and that's what I really enjoy. Also, this builds up for somebody else that we know that could be a team leader that should have been the next Captain America, which would have been Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes, and we also know him as the Winter Soldier.
And I remember I was so excited when I saw him. It was like seeing somebody famous that you've met on TV. I'm shouting at the TV. I know him.
Yeah.
I know who he is. I remember him from Endgame.
Yeah, and he's made a lot of TV appearances too. What was the Blake Lively show? I forget the name of it. Gossip Girl?
I never watched it.
I don't remember.
But it was Gossip Girl.
Okay, he apparently acted in that. I caught a video recently online, and he was in it, and I was like, oh, I forgot he was in that. But he's been in other films as well. And if you remember Hot Tub Time Machine, he was in there as well too.
Oh my gosh, he was. Wow.
So, from what we remember, if you guys did get to see Captain America: Brave New World, we know Bucky is now a senator for the government for a particular state, which is pretty cool, and is still keeping a keen eye on things, even still as a senator, even though, he still has that vibranium arm from the Wakandans that he used during Endgame. He needs 2 arms, so he still has it, and he still has the super soldier serum in him. So he's still keeping an eye out on what's going on in government, and especially for Allegra DeFontaine and what she is up to within this particular film, because he could see something is brewing. She's being manipulative. And Bucky being the Winter Soldier and friend of Steve Rogers, as we all know, if you don't recall or have not seen it. That's how he became the Winter Soldier. He was Bucky in the first Captain America. Just to give a little brief history for those who have not. So that way you can go back and watch all 29 films, or I don't know what number Marvel's at with these films right now, but
I remember that I did watch that Captain America one.
The first one? Yeah.
The one with the Winter Soldier.
Okay,
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier's the second film. And
okay,
then,
so I saw the second one.
Yeah, but he was also in Captain America, the First Avenger. And I would say that. Yeah, check that out. Next up,
Wyatt Russell as John Walker, U.S. agent.
Mm-hmm.
The last time we saw John Walker was in the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where we saw him take the super soldier serum and make for a bad Captain America with what he did in that show. I have no idea what that is. Apparently working jobs for Allegra, which that show left. Okay. Wow, let me start that part over. Apparently, working jobs for Allegra, which that show left us off with, and his new shield and costume.
Yeah. Well, just to brief you, Becky, on that, remember when they said that he killed somebody at the end? That was within Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's what made him look bad, because he was supposed to be the new Captain America after Sam was given the shield by Steve at the end of Endgame. And the show starts off where Sam was going to reclaim the shield for himself, and because he was given that shield to be Captain America by Steve Rogers, and the government felt, no, we need somebody to replace Steve Rogers. Now, that's where that show kind of got really split from viewers, because they didn't think of a man of color to play or be the Captain America who doesn't have the super soldier serum, which I thought was stupid, because in the comic book, it's the same thing. Falcon did become Captain America. And there was still that diversity within the comic and how they didn't like him as being it. But I always was rooting for him. And Bucky in the show was by his side grudgingly because they never got along, but they were friends in the end. They still talk. And if you haven't seen Brave New World, please do, because you could see their friendship within that. So, and it's not just based on Steve, but yeah, they gave this to John Walker. John Walker was a regular soldier, and they said, okay, we're going to market this, and he's going to be the new Captain America, but he doesn't have the serum. Within the show, there were people trying to build up a super soldier serum. There were bad people, things of that nature. Bucky and Sam were trying to stop this, and then in the interim, the government was trying to put John Walker in that, and then they were at odds because Sam and Bucky were being seen as going rogue, and the government didn't want that, and they thought he was going to kill. I think at the time Thunderbolt Ross or the president. I forgot. It's been so long since that show came out, so you guys could correct me if you want. But in the end of it, we got John Walker taking the super soldier serum, and he became what Steve and Bucky have within them, or as well as Alexei, because Alexei's got some Russian style super soldier serum in him himself as well. And it's so funny too, because now you think on the team they have 3 people who are super soldiers.
Yeah,
it's wild. So yeah, that's where we left off, and then we know Wyatt as Kurt Russell's son, another MCU alum. He was Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. And Wyatt's been in Monarch Legacy of Monsters, which I covered with Ben Beck on Wilhelm, and for House Podcastica. I don't know what they're calling it now, but we covered that. But we're looking forward for when Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 comes out. So Ben and I will be covering that. And then we've seen, if you have a good eye and you've watched old comedy movies like I do, 22 Jump Street. He was in there with Channing Tatum. You never saw 22 Jump Street?
No, I saw it. I'm just trying to.
He was one of the footballer guys that Channing Tatum's character wound up like buddying up with in the movie.
Okay.
And he was the blonde-haired guy. Wyatt's been doing a lot lately. They're currently filming a Steven Spielberg movie, which is, I was told by somebody who works in the industry that it's kind of like a Aliens on the Road. And it's Wyatt and Emily Blunt. They were filming in Jersey for a while, so to get that full road work going on. So they've been doing a lot of road filming. I don't know if they've finished principal photography or not, but we'll see. And I'm looking forward to seeing more about that particular movie. But also this actually spotlights Wyatt in this particular character in a movie finally for the MCU. So I'm looking forward to that. Next up would be Lewis Pullman as Robert Reynolds, or Bob.
I gotta say that throughout the movie, I called him Baby Loki.
Who, Bob?
I thought he looked like Loki had a kid, and that was his kid. Even when they turned his hair blonde, I felt like I was looking at Loki.
And the character is Robert Reynolds is Sentry, and is someone new to the MCU. So this is the first look at Sentry and our introduction to him within the MCU. So we'll be discussing him later based upon our conversation about the movie and what we liked and where the plot went. Because I had to look up the character because I'm not familiar with that comic, because honestly, that character wasn't created until like the year 2000, and I wasn't reading comics back then at that time again. So I had to look it up, and I'll kind of divulge some of that information later.
All right. Well, next up is Hannah John Common?
Cayman.
Kamen. Hannah John Kamen as Ava Starr, aka Ghost. The last time we saw Ghost was in the film Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie, which I did see. She apparently fixed her costume and has been employed by Allegra as well for her secret missions. She was cool. She's super cool. I really, really like her ability.
Yeah, I'm glad that they actually spotlighted her because there was talk for her coming back, and when was she going to come back? And when they kind of announced who was going to be part of the Thunderbolts, I thought it was pretty cool, and I was glad to see her. I think she is a good added character. Not another character I was not familiar with from the comics, but Lawrence Fishburne to guide her in any way in this particular film, like she was in that particular film. But I'm looking forward to see if we could get Giant Man. That would be great. Or Goliath. He's Goliath. Sorry. Next up would be, of all people, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I always say Louis, but it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Amazing.
Ugh, that long name always gets me every time we talked about it when Steve and I covered Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I could not get it. Blah, 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 blah. Could never get it. But we've known that Allegra de Fontaine had a hand in the government for a while, but we did not know her game, really. She was very secretive. We saw her at the end of a lot of things. The end of Black Widow, if the tail end of the movie, we saw her talk to Yelena at the gravesite for Black Widow. And she was just paying homage to her adoptive sister. Apparently, power and control was her game, and we find that out throughout the movie. And her setting up the Sentry program, which unfolds within this movie with having her operatives work for her on their secret missions, and that's how they're put together. But we find out later there was a reason why they were all set up together, which is so funny.
Yep.
You didn't see that come back at her.
God, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I love her. She's I don't know if you watched Pete, but
yeah, I saw a little bit of here and there. Yeah.
Whenever you've got time, go back and watch the whole thing. It's so funny. So
yeah, she was also in Seinfeld, if you'll remember that from the 80s.
Well, yeah, everybody knows that.
And National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh my gosh, she was, yeah. Oh, aren't you? So good. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
Water on the rug in our bedroom. Why is
I don't know, Margot. But I was excited to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this, and she brought her amazing comedic ability to this, and brought it just to be such a villain. She's so funny but horrible all at the same time. Loved it. She killed it.
If she wanted to be Loki or Mephisto's associate, she could easily be that. Oh man.
Well, she kind of was baby Loki's. Sorry, I can't. Every time I see him, I see baby Loki.
But he's innocent. There's a part of him that's innocent. We'll get to talk about that soon. Next one.
Geraldine Viswanathan. God, these are terrible. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Viswanathan. Yep.
As Mel, I liked Mel. This is a new character, one which I do like. I think Bucky likes her as well and sees the good within her. That was why he approached her, and he might be a little attracted to her. Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I thought that in. I thought I'd be talking about this, but yeah, I thought of that right away when he handed her his business card. I thought that was like he was trying to pick her up.
Yeah, he seemed to really care about her.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, is there some backstory here? I mean, obviously she knows who he is. They've interacted before, but he just really seemed to be concerned about her more than you would just be a random, hey, I want to protect the people. There seemed to be a little something more.
I think that had to do with her being Valentina's assistant, and he was concerned for her because she's very young, especially with the conversation they have in the beginning. And she goes, "Yeah, I was in high school when that happened at the battle in Manhattan."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'm like over 100 years old."
It's like Angel and Buffy.
Yeah, literally. But we've seen this actress before in other films, like the movie The Package that was Netflix only. It's still on there. Everybody could see it.
Was that with Jason Bateman?
No. This is a
Oh, that was The
movie
Present.
full
Never
of
mind.
younger actors, and let's say they kind of, when they casted her, because she's Australian and she's got kind of an Indian look to her. So they have this other kid. Remember the Indian kid from Stranger Things that worked at the pizza store who had the long straight hair?
Yes.
Well, he's a stoner in
I
it.
thought he was Hawaiian.
I'm not sure exactly what the ethnicity is. Honestly, the way they put it in the package is that they were like Indian.
Okay.
It was weird. I don't know. It's like they stretch it with people's ethnicity based upon their looks, I guess.
Well, it's also been 17 years since Stranger Things, so
But yeah, he's in it. He plays the brother in that particular film, and let's just say he likes playing with knives, and his thingy got cut off, and they're in the middle of the wilderness. So his thingy was the package they have to get back to the hospital after he got airlifted out, and they took the wrong thing, so they didn't have it in a refrigerated container. So they have to get out of the woods to meet them at the hospital because they can only airlift him out. So all the friends are trying to get his thingamabob back to them so they can reattach it.
wow.
So yeah, that's not a kid movie, friendly movie, everybody. So very funny for younger actors that are out there, and it is entertaining. She was also in the movie Blockers, if you remember that had John Cena in it as well. Really? You don't remember that? You never seen it? I
haven't seen a single movie John Cena's been in.
Oh, okay. My brother doesn't like John Cena himself.
It's not really it's not that I don't like him. I'm just he doesn't do anything for me.
My brother doesn't like him as a person or a wrestler or an actor. It's so funny. He's like, oh, I hate him. It's like, okay. But in that particular movie, Blockers, has Leslie Mann, Ike Barinholtz. He's a comedic actor. You've seen him in, I forget. That was a Seth Rogen movie where they, Neighbors, of all things. I had it in my head. Neighbors. He was in there. He played the friends of the neighbors. It actually had Catherine Newton in it as well. So it's a funny movie. It's about a bunch of girls who are graduating high school. They go on their prom date, but the parents are kind of hovering parents, and they, not to sidecast it, but just to give you an idea of the movie because this is a newer actress. Basically, they decide to lose their virginity at the night of their prom, and the parents find out through text messages and hovering, and they're trying to stop them from doing that night. And it's hilarious what the parents go through. And she was in a TV show called The Miracle Workers that ran from 2019 to 2023, and the recent film You're Cordially Invited in 2025. That just came out recently. I saw that on, I think it was Prime. Yeah, it was Prime. It was a Prime movie. And that had Reese Witherspoon and Will Ferrell, and both parents decide to book their daughters' weddings.
Oh, yeah, I saw a preview for that.
On the same island or dedicated family resort. They're obviously they have money, but the island doesn't really cater to 2 or more weddings and on the island at a time. So they had to share it. And then there's like animosity towards families and stuff like that. So, and it becomes humorous. But you
We
can see
missed
those films.
one.
Hmm?
We missed one.
Which one?
Olga Kurylenko as Antonia Dreykov, the Taskmaster.
Oh, yes. Olga Kurylenko. Yep. She played on Antonia Dreykov, Taskmaster, as it were, from the Black Widow movie itself. And the last we saw of Olga, or it was, if you don't remember, or if you've not seen Black Widow, she played Dreykov's daughter, which was the red in, Natasha's ledger that she talks about in the Avengers movies throughout it. It was something that we go. So we finally get the backstory of what happened to Dreykov's daughter. And this is Dreykov's daughter. Literally, we find out within that movie, spoilers, but you could go back and watch it if you haven't watched it. But a spoiler, yeah, Dreykov's daughter didn't die. Dreykov wound up manipulating her with her mind and her brain in the Red Room and being able to control her because she had some sort of damage to her brain, was able to restore it and became adaptive and can learn any fighting style in any way, hence being Taskmaster.
Is she the one who died?
That's the one allegedly that died, and she didn't die, apparently.
But in this movie.
Oh, yeah, spoilers. Yeah, she died.
Well, this is a spoiler-filled podcast.
So, yeah, she dies in this, everybody, literally within the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, because I was like, wait, when you started talking about her, it's like, I don't remember her. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, apparently she was chosen as well for Allegra's secret missions as well. And that unfolds in the movie. So we could go right into that. We don't necessarily, we already talked about our initial thoughts on what that we liked the movie. So, and we do recommend it to you guys, but we could just talk about it. So basically, the characters are sent on another mission to by Allegra, but Allegra, we see, gave Yelena a mission for hunting down something of Sentry at some lab in a city, and she didn't get what she needed and winds up blowing up. And then later on, that's when she goes to see Alexei and ask her, hey, she has another mission for me. Do you think I should do it or should I just walk away? She takes the mission, and then you see that she has to go to this vault section in this like desert area on a mountain. And that's apparently where she was supposed to stop somebody from going in. And eventually, that's where we get to see everybody come into play. Everybody encounters somebody else, but we find out they all were told on their assignments to put a hit on this person that's in there.
Yeah, they all realized that they were there to kill each other. And then she puts it together that
Yelena puts it together and figures out, it's like, hey, we were
they're what they're there to destroy, and all hell breaks loose. And they immediately are all thrown together and forced to work together to get themselves out of it. And their bickering was hilarious.
That was hilarious. For the fact, it's like they had to realize it, but throughout it, Ghost winds up killing Taskmaster literally with a gunshot, I think, to the head.
Yeah, to the head.
Yeah. And the only line she got out of it is like, I'm not here for you, saying Yelena.
Yeah.
And that was it. Her mask opens up, which is the first one I've seen of this because of her costuming from that particular movie. But she goes, I'm not here for you, meaning that each one of them had a dedicated hit who was to kill them. And, she lost out, unfortunately, before the truth could come out. And Yelena coming to figure out, we're part of Allegra's failed missions, and she doesn't want us here. We're part of Ox's assets. that they want to get rid of. So they're going to eliminate us. So they sent us to eliminate each other. And then within that time during a party that, we see Bucky at, Allegra at, and everything, and the assistant at, come the end of it, they're still monitoring through like an iPad or something what's going on in this vault. And it's set for incineration. But within that, they find Bob.
Or Bob finds them. I guess during the melee, he got out of his little coffin thing.
Yep.
And I was like, look, there's Loki.
But he had no memory.
I'm not kidding. I was confused for a second. I was like, wait, what? But yeah, he had thank goodness he had no memory, because man, what his mind can do. That's got to be, I mean, I guess I could save it for when we get further into the movie when he becomes Sentry, but I wrote down in my notes that he's pretty, as a Century, I thought it was Century, not Century. Century makes more sense. But I wrote down he's pretty badass. He gives kind of the quote unquote unstoppable Thanos vibes.
Yeah.
And
him
beating the Silver Surfer with his own arm.
I have some information on here about Sentry. So, like I said, listeners, I'm not familiar with the character at all. So, to give you a brief idea and description of Sentry, the Sentry possesses remarkable levels of super strength, speed, and intelligence, as well as invulnerability, enhanced senses, energy projection abilities, and power of flight, all fueled via absorption of the solar radiation and dependent upon his mental state when stable. He has the potential for virtually limitless power and is described as equal to 1 million exploding suns. However, if his mental state wavers, he becomes weaker and easier to defeat. So that's the Marvel comic version. But we didn't see his mental state. We saw his mental state waver. It's when he went dark. So that's when we get the void. So in this case, we see that happen. That's part of him.
Cool.
Yeah. So he also possesses vast and untapped psionic powers. And they describe it as the energy which imbues him as the side effect of rendering the Hulk docile, meaning that he has a way of making people do what he needs to, even in the midst of intense rages. So think about it. He could be like the lullaby to Bruce's Hulk if he goes all ragey. Whether he can apply this trait to other effects is unrevealed. And then as the Void, he possesses many of the same powers in addition to the abilities to assume different shapes and invades their minds of others using tendrils of darkness, which we did get to see. But in this case, he puts people in the Void in the MCU in a standalone, I'd hate to say it, Bill and Ted's Goes to Hell situation where they have to relive the worst moment in their life or a moment they regret. And we see that
over and over and no matter what they do, they can't stop it. That void.
Yeah.
It's like starts all over again. It was I felt like that whole thing was a pretty good view of the need for positive mental health.
It's a great duality, though. You have him as who he is as a good side, and then you have the person of the Void on the other side, because these are two. I call it split personality.
Well, and them going to war with it was the legit in your face version of good versus evil, because Bob was good. He was genuinely a sweet guy, and it's when they exploited that power and the dark side of him that's inside of him came to the forefront that, all those bad things started to happen. And then he had to fight that dark side in order to be able to overcome it. And it was very telling at the end when they were going through their whole new Avengers thing, that he's like, sorry, you know what happens if I give into it. So like the only way to be Sentry is for him to be evil, and he doesn't want to do that.
Well, he showed a bit of goodness in him before at the very end scene when that fight at the old Avengers Tower, when Allegra tells him to stop them. And
Yeah.
then he that's what pushes him over the edge as being the Void, because they wind up pummeling him to a certain point where he just goes black and dark. And that's where the shift happens and in his mind. And he himself is locked in there. So Bob is even locked into his own void.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in there with them, which I thought was very, very cool. And the fact that they were all able to work even still in the void itself.
The way they work together.
Yeah. The one thing I like though is their escape and how he comes with the idea of climbing up back to back. And that was the first thing I thought when they saw the cylindrical tube that goes all the way up. They all have to work together back to back to get out. And of course, Walker is constantly trying to say, it's like, do it my way. It's like trying to take the lead all the time. And they're like, we don't want to listen to you. So Ghost and Yelena are like, shut up. And then they're dealing with Bob. And on top of that, Bob is like, he's so nervous. He can't stand heights. He's like, cucumber.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sneeze.
And anyway, he's like, he doesn't want to sneeze. And then that does happen. But they're all hanging on at a certain point, and Yelena saves Bob. And of course, Walker, they think that Walker's gonna, like, you know, get them out. But they avoided the inferno that they were trying, that Allegra does to try to destroy them, incinerate them, as it were. So they all work together to get out there with Ghost. They finally get out of there. Bob winds up trying to almost sacrificing himself while they try to sneak away in one of the trucks.
Well, he did sacrifice himself. He just happens to be invincible.
That he did not even know of. And they get away, but then they're stuck. And they see Bob flying through the air, too, at a certain point and crashing. And it causes everything. And then they're stuck out there in this desert-like area. But the funniest part, which I love, is Alexei showing up with the limo.
Oh my God, honking like a madman. I'm like, they're gonna hear you.
Yelena, my daughter.
She's like, ignore that. Don't even. Nope.
She's like this, trying to hide her face from the rest of them. They're like, do you know who this is? Do not work for Allegra. It's a trap. She's gonna try to kill you. And like,
we figured that out. Thanks.
And they wind up going to Alexei. He's there with the limo, and they try to get away. They use that, and then trying to get away from it. And apparently they're found by Allegra's team, the government team, and they're being followed. And they try to. And the best part is Alexei can't go over 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He thinks he's got a bottle of Nos in there to make it go faster, but they're getting shot out. John's trying to stop the bullets with his shield in the back.
It was pretty cool, though, the way the Silver Surfer Bucky came in to help, and you're like, okay, cool. He's on the good side.
Yeah, I know.
And then he stops the limo and takes them all into custody, which I think we failed to mention that part of the big reason Valentina was so hell-bent on destroying all of that evidence is because she's going through congressional hearings where they're trying to impeach her.
Yep.
And
that would be something to be used against her. And
yes. And so the Silver Surfers, Senator Bucky's like, I'm going to bring you in and y'all are going to go testify and be the nail in her coffin. And I loved when they're sitting in there in the little holding cell or whatever, and they're trying to tell him what's going on, and he's like, whatever, y'all are crazy. And then he overhears the phone call. It's like Bob, and whoever's talking on the phone is repeating everything, and he's like, okay, yeah, we're gotta get out of here, let's go stop this.
There's a good quote in that one where Yelena looks at Bucky because Bucky, you could see with Alexei and with Walker, he had to bend iron around them to hold them because they got the super soldier serum in them, and Ghost and Yelena only have rope and whatever holding them. But Yelena looks at Bucky and saying, Bucky, you have the wrong people. We have all done bad things. And then Bucky just turns around and says, look, I've been where you are. The past doesn't go away. So you can either live with it forever or do something about it. And it's kind of like motivation for them to come together. And then that's when we get this team together. But I love with the limo ride all together before Bucky shows up. Alexei talks about the Thunderbolts. Now you think, honestly, in the comics, there was a team called the Thunderbolts, but guess who was on that? Thunderbolt Ross himself, the Red Hulk. We just saw the Red Hulk in Brave New World.
Really?
But in this case, they kind of do a twist. So it kind of like we all thought, oh, Red Hulk's going to be in this. We're going to get Harrison Ford do a cameo, maybe. No. It was all in reference to a Pee-wee soccer team.
It was so bad they never won one game.
Yeah, and I thought it was funny that was utilized, and that's how they got the name. So they kept pushing it and pushing it. So I was like, that is cute. That is a way to rename a group the way it is.
Yeah, that was fair. And he was so proud that she chose that name based off that horrible soccer team. But speaking of the Red Hulk, I do like the way they Valentina referenced him when she was talking to he was in Suits, the guy that was part of the congressional hearings.
Oh, I know what you're talking
she's
about.
like, you had a president that turned out to be the Red Hulk. I like how they gave a lot of callbacks to previous battles and poor New York City. Golly.
Yeah, that was Wendell Pierce.
Wendell Pierce, thank you.
That's the name of the actor that you remember from Suits. And cool.
Wendell Pierce, was that his name? That was his name on. Oh, and he was also in what's the guy for Jim Halpert from The Office? John Krasinski. He played Jack.
He was in
Ryan.
The Office with him?
No, he was in Jack Ryan.
Oh, okay.
He was like his BFF / former partner. Have you not seen Jack Ryan?
No.
Oh, you would love it. You should watch it.
I've been watching Reacher, so that's one of the few weird, odd shows that I've been getting into on occasion. I have to go back to it. I only got into the first 8 episodes of season 1. Everybody keeps telling me it's a great show. So same thing with Jack Ryan too. I've heard about that. Just to give a little bit more noteworthy appearances too. Those of you who loved True Blood, one of Allegra D. Fontaine's military men, people in charge of her team, was Chris Bauer. And he played the sheriff in True Blood, if you remember. So he shows up in the movie as well. He meets an untimely death in a helicopter at the end.
Yeah.
Fortunately. But it was great to see him. I like him as an actor. But yeah, it moves into where Bucky kind of ropes them in. They're all working together. They go to see Allegra, but by that time, they get to, quote unquote, the old Avengers Tower. That's pretty funny for the fact that she bought it and was going to utilize it for whatever it was. And that's how she tries to invoke the idea of this Sentry, because the idea of the Sentry and the project of Sentry was to create a superhuman that could take over what the Avengers were doing, because technically there are no Avengers anymore. They haven't brought them back.
She could control it.
And then she can control it.
She would have all the power. That
Correct.
She was definitely making a power play.
Exactly. And that's what I mentioned earlier, how was her devious plot point. Uh, a lot of talk about how Lewis Pullman's Sentry character looks on film with the suit, with the cape, and how he looks in general. Those of us who are Gen Xers and grew up in the 80s remember Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and you remember Nuclear Man. The suit looks a lot like that, and everybody was giving it that joke about that. But, by the end of the movie, it's just Bob being Bob, which is great. So hopefully they'll change the suit somewhere at a later time if he does initiate in Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, or Secret Wars. Because honestly, they could definitely utilize this character more because it's Marvel's version of a Superman.
Yeah.
With a split
And
personality.
he's the person they cast is he's so good at playing
the goofy side.
Both sides, really.
Yeah.
Like when he was so goofy in the beginning, and then that transition starts once he becomes Sentry. I was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to be believable, but I was like, dang,
he did. But yeah, they have their say Allegra gives him dyes his hair blonde, gives him a suit, and basically she tells him it's like, oh, you're gonna save us from these who are outlaws, and they came in and did this, and they're gonna try to attack me. So you're gonna save. So you have to do this. So basically, you see them all attack Bob as Sentry, and he is just flicking them off here and there, taking care of house and hold. And it's an amazing battle scene, especially when he takes John Walker's shield and makes it a taco.
Yeah. I still think the best was when he took Silver Soldier or Silver Surfer's Silver Surfer. So, wow.
We're not getting Silver that until Soldier. Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I went, sorry guys. The Silver Soldier's arm and beat him with it. But that was where that whole fight scene was super cool.
Yes.
Because that's why I said it gave me Thanos vibes, because I remember when they were all the Avengers were trying so hard to stop Thanos.
Correct.
And no matter what they did, they just kept getting beaten down and beaten down and beaten down. And that made me feel it really made me feel like it did during those
Endgame.
2 Avengers movies where I was
Infinity
like, oh my
War
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hurt. I felt like this is, oh my God. And then that void, like, I'm glad that people didn't, I thought once they disintegrated, I thought they were dead.
That's what I thought initially too. I was like, oh great. How are they going to come back from this?
The little girl that,
Yelena had killed?
No. The little girl that
Alexei saved?
Yeah, was saved, and then he just I was like, oh my God, if she's dead, I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah. But that was a great saving location, very much almost like the first Avengers.
Yeah.
With Captain America, when he did a few things. He saved there's an edited version. The girl who plays what is it, Ellie from The Last of Us in the video game. She voices it. She's the girl from Growing Pains. There's a deleted scene where you see a little bit more of Captain America and her, and when he saved her in the first Avengers film. I thought that was great, but it reminded me of that. But also the fact that you get to see them all working together as a team. And that's what Alexei wanted all at once. But I love how Alexei and Bucky at that point trying to stop Bob after the darkness starts happening, because they were trying to shut him down. Like they were trying to it's like Allegra saw how rogue that Bob was going as Sentry, and they were attacking and shooting at him, and it got to that point where you think he's dead, but he's not. They used that weapon that her assistant had
The kill switch.
The kill switch. And it's meant to kill him, but what it did was it made him go to his alternate side, his dark side. And I think of it as like the Dark Side TV series when everything goes black. And that's how everything happens with this. And it puts everybody into a void that he's just sucking everybody into it. And I thought, okay, this is an interesting take on it. This is like almost going dark Marvel at this point. Oddly enough, characters that they were considering for this particular film to be part of the Thunderbolts, Becky, you're gonna laugh. Man-Thing.
This Man-Thing.
Okay, so Man-Thing.
I'm googling Man-Thing right now.
Google it. It's
I'm
pretty
thinking
funny.
of something totally different.
So, you'll think Swamp Thing when you see this, but this was Marvel's idea of Swamp Thing, but Man-Thing came out before Swamp Thing. What they did with this particular character, and this was a character in the comics that literally was working on a super soldier serum, and through mystic voodoo vibes and stuff like that, became this creature with a man inside it with a soul, but would literally burn out evil for anybody who did something evil or lied or anything like that. His touch would burn you. He has super strength, but it looks like he's got an elephant trunk and some weird braided thing down his side with big red eyes.
Very
but they were
attractive.
Considering putting this character into the Thunderbolts, but we did last see him in Werewolf by Night, which was a MCU holiday special for Halloween a few years ago, which I loved. If you guys have not seen it, it's still on there. It's still on Disney Plus, I think, but they have the black and white version because it is like a Halloween kind of movie. But I thought it was pretty cool that we finally got a version of Man-Thing. The only thing we had from like that particular character at one point was an old B movie that they did, which did not really look like it. It was like all tree ridden and everything else. And it made it more of like an evil character in it. You could still find it out there somewhere, probably in, Tubi or something like that. But I won't recommend it. It's not an official Marvel film, but they do put the Marvel logo in the very beginning of it. But they have to do all this stuff in this void to get out, and they find Bob there. They work together to get out to deal with Bob. So to deal with Bob's void. And
I gotta say, the coolest scene when they're in there going through all each one of their different
it goes to like room to room and stuff.
The dude flipping the chicken, flipping the sign.
That was Bob in the chicken suit. And yeah, the funny part about that is, I'll give you the quote. It's hilarious. It's because he attacks Red Guardian, and while in the void, Red Guardian goes, "Bob, if you hit me with that sign one more time," and he gets whacked in the head again with the fast food sign. And Bob goes, "I was on meth."
Yeah.
The story about Bob is reason why he signed up for that like secret operation thing was to do something better for himself, to get rid of drugs, because he was a drug user and he kept finding all the wrong places to find himself, to rid himself of drugs and being the way he was. So he felt, okay, I could do this. So that's why he got locked away after they thought all the other patients that took whatever Allegra's scientists were doing to these people didn't survive.
Died. Yeah.
So he was stuffed away and stuck in that place, in that vault. And they didn't realize, it's like, oh, he was just incubating. But
I can see a lot of people thinking it's probably cheesy, but when they're all in the one room together and Bob has them wrapped in, or Sentry, Evil Bob has them all restrained, and she gets free, and that sequence of her very Matrix like getting to him, and I could see a lot of people probably being like, okay, that's super cheesy. But I loved when she embraced him and was like, I'm here. I'm
I'm your
not going
friend. Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
And then all of them came and embraced him as well as embracing each other,
Mhm.
just to say, you're not alone anymore. We're here for you. I just thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was
And
so cool about it. It was kind of like a Guardians of the Galaxy moment of all them coming together for somebody in need. And it's like, oh, I guess he's Groot.
yeah, yeah.
But the
I just
funny thing
love
is too is
that.
you get to see, John Walker was being a dick to him the whole time in the very beginning. It's like, okay, Bob.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, okay, we like you, whatever, you're one of us. And with that, they were able to go back and fix and take care of a few things. And then they come out of it and Bob's normal. He's in his like patient outfit at that
Mm-hmm.
point.
He scrubs.
And he goes, "What happened?" And they're like, "Oh, okay." And it's like he had no memory of it at
We're not
all.
going to tell you what happened. Don't you worry about it, Bob.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to remember that. And then they get a look and see Allegra DeFontaine, and she's trying to run away from them at that point. But she leads them to a press conference.
Man, she is so, I was so excited. I was like, oh, she is going to get hers. And then she goes through that curtain and there's the press. She she had it all set up and ready to go.
She used it to her own benefit, saying, "Yes, I want to bring to you the new Avengers."
I loved Elena's I mean, she smart. They all played their part for the crowd. They all
Yeah.
did what they were supposed to, but she lets her know,
Oh yeah,
we own you now. And I'm like, yep, you pretty much do.
yeah. Yelena was like that to her, right? She says, "We own you now."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good point and quote. Yeah. So then we get it official. Now the movie ends at like the new Avengers. So okay, that's what the asterisk or the star at the very end of the Thunderbolts meant, which was pretty cool. So we know where it is because, as you guys know from Brave New World, if you watch Captain America: Brave New World, in the very beginning of that movie, Thunderbolt Ross, the president, asked Sam Wilson to build a new Avengers team. So we know that that's still even in the beginning and even at the end, he states the same thing. I want you to put the Avengers together, an Avengers group. So with that, we're going to have, a Captain America who flies, former Falcon, but we have the new Falcon, and we got the Latino version, which is pretty cool. And I love that character. He's very humorous. It just reminds me of another superhero that has come and gone, and I can't really remember off the top of my head the name, but very, very ambitious and wants to be a hero. And that's what I love about the character. Anyhow, new Falcon, we got new Cap. We could always have the original Captain America, the first Captain America. And I'm not talking about Steve Rogers. I'm talking about the guy who was imprisoned that was given the super soldier serum, who we all know. And the first black Captain America, which I love that character.
I am having a difficult time watching Brave New World because my Marvel lore and history is only knowing Steve Rogers as Captain America.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm having a very difficult time moving
Navigating
past that. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but it letting him go in Endgame was very difficult for me, and I haven't been able to bring myself to watch the other one yet because does that make sense? I know that's lame, but
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. it's very hard to follow, and you got to go through it. There's other shows. These are things that alluded, but you already knew ahead of time. You're like, I don't know, but you enjoyed the film as it was. But it to me, I thought it was pretty cool that we got Isaiah Bradley. I would love to see Isaiah Bradley, even though he's an older man, as another Captain America in that Avengers that Sam apparently is trying to sue the new Avengers for copyright infringement at the end credits scene.
I love it when he's got the Z. He comes out in the
Alexi comes out with a jumpsuit,
like the race. It's almost like a race car suit, and it's got
he gets
the
them
Z.
for everybody.
It's so cute.
I loved it.
He looked good in the cereal aisle. One thing I want to say about the credits, the articles that were flashing through about the Avengers. There was one article with the headline, "Not My Avengers." And I laughed. I had to pause because that made me laugh so hard thinking about these last 3 presidential elections where the right was saying, "Not my president," when one got elected, and the left is saying the same thing. I would feel like that was ripped straight out of American headlines, and it made me laugh. But that artwork
it was great.
Beautiful. And the junior varsity Captain America, did you see him riding they had him sitting on top of his bent
shield
like it was like a bull,
Taco. Like riding a bull or a horse or a horse's saddle or something like that. Yeah.
I want to go back and watch it again, and I want to really I tried to focus as best as I could on a lot of those articles, but I just thought that was some of those were very funny, and the artwork was well done.
Yeah, sitting in the theater, I had a huge chuckle because being a Marvel purist as I am, I had to sit all the way to the very end of the of the movie to watch that final, which was a decent length of an end credit scene, honestly, to have them all come together in the new Avengers headquarters that they had. Some of them had newer style suits, if you looked, other than Alexi coming in with the race car coverall style suit that he got for everybody. But with the incoming call saying that there's something coming into the outer atmosphere, but also the conversation about how acknowledging that this was in the future, meaning that this is right around the time Doomsday is happening, Avengers Doomsday. So keep that in mind. That's like a futuristic one, because it shows you this ship that's coming into the orbit and you see the Four on it. So we know it's Fantastic Four. And that was the tease of, hey, this is when we do get to see the Fantastic Four in the MCU, officially part of the multiversal thing. So what we get in July is literally their story of how they break out of their world and what happens within their world and break out of that. And then we have to shoot ahead to Doomsday, which will be coming out next year. And we'll see the Fantastic Four come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A little point of interest and note to that scene. They were filming that scene on the set of Avengers Doomsday. So the Russo brothers had to shoot it, or somebody that was associated with the Avengers Doomsday film while they were on set, where they had everybody, had to shoot that scene. And then the pre-credit scene, or it's like in between credit, I call it, because they start the credits and then next thing you know, you see Alexi, properly combed hair.
The Wheaties.
And he comes in and it's like the Thunderbolts or the new Avengers are on the Wheaties, and he goes, "Hey, you need to have these."
Slowly holding it up to his face. And I like how she takes it.
And she puts it
And
back.
She puts it down right before she rounds the corner, and he's like, "That was me on the box."
Yeah, that was me on the box. I'm a hero. Look at me. I'm the new Captain America.
It was
that's
great.
that's what the Crimson Guardian was. And he had his own shield too, which is so funny too, because he didn't have one in this particular film. But I'm hoping we get to see John Walker with a shield. We get to see Alexi with a shield, and then we'll get to see Sam with a shield.
Yeah.
And God forbid we'll get Chris Evans coming back, and that's the story. Everybody, they're saying Chris Evans, and this is like newsworthy stuff and news spots for MCU and comic news. Chris Evans is going to play 4 parts in like Doomsday and Secret Wars. He's going to play Captain Hydra, so it's the bad version of Captain America in an alternate universe where he's Captain America but works for Hydra. He's going to be the older version of Steve Rogers as we know, probably in between the time jumps and everything, and probably gets lost and gets stuck in it's probably Secret Wars. Then we're going to get to see him as probably Johnny Storm again. But the 4th one, I'm not familiar with or what they would do with that. I'm waiting for that one. But I still think that, and this is my prediction of what they should do if they write it in for Secret Wars. We know that Scarlett Johansson's going to come back as Black Widow. But you could get somebody else who could play Black Widow, and that would be the woman who voices Black Widow in the Marvel animated universe, Lake Bell. And I've been saying this for the past number of years because after they dismissed Scarlett Johansson and she ended their contract and then has resigned for Marvel for these movies, they could still get Lake Bell to play a different version of Black Widow. She doesn't have to look like her. She could be a Black Widow, but she's not Scarlett Johansson. So, but there's that. And then for other news before we get into anything else noteworthy on the film, and then we'll get to quotes. I put it in here. I love, because we haven't done comic news in a long time. Matthew Lillard, if you all know who he is, he was Stu Macher in Scream. He was Shaggy Rogers in Scooby-Doo. Well, he's confirmed to play a role in Daredevil Born Again Season 2.
Who is he going to be?
I don't know. They stated it's a specific character and it's somebody known, but we don't know exactly. That's all he could state. But he stated recently in that interview that it could be a regular role if the character's received well and when the show comes back on again for another season.
I believe that they're going to merge the Scooby-Doo franchise with the Marvel franchise, and he is gonna reprise his role as Shaggy.
Thanks.
I can see it. I could see it.
It would be funny, but you do realize that Shaggy and Scoob only had one superhero crossover, and that was Batman and Robin.
Batman! I know exactly who that was. Batman's my boy, and Scooby-Doo is my boy. So, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I feel like
it's a possibility.
Put that on my wish list of things I want to see is Marvel and Scooby-Doo together.
Well, we'll let Matthew Lillard know that. We'll basically hashtag him or at him on our links because we mentioned him. Same thing with somebody else who I'm looking forward to come back with the Netflix shows. Obviously, with Daredevil Born Again Season 1, we got the Punisher back. We got Karen Page back. Unfortunately, we lost Foggy, but did we? Or did we not? We don't know because there's still that rumblings and everybody keeps going. And it's like me, I want Foggy back. I really want to see Eldon Johnson come back. But Kristen Ritter will be reprising her role as Jessica Jones in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So we loved Jessica Jones. Steve and I finished out all the seasons because that was the only Netflix show to officially end their series on Netflix because of the contracts and everything that was going on with Netflix before Marvel obtained rights and didn't do anything with the property for like over 3 years.
Is
So,
she in the other Daredevil series?
yep, as well as the Defenders.
Okay, because I am halfway through the finale of season 2 of the original Daredevil.
I'm not sure if she was in season 3, but they do encounter each other, either in
Okay.
Punisher or Defenders. You got to remember how long
Oh,
ago
so
we
these are
covered
the
those.
movies.
But no, they're not movies. These are Netflix shows. So you had Daredevil went 3 seasons, right? They were prepping for do a 4th. You had Punisher went 2 seasons. You had Iron Fist that went, I think it went for 2 seasons. I breezed through them because I was not really entirely into the show. Then you had Luke Cage. And then you had the Defenders because the Defenders literally brought together all the Netflix hero properties from Marvel together. So you had Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, all of them together, grouping together. And you had Rosario Dawson as a recurring character and Karen Page by Deborah Ann Wall coming as characters from in between because Rosario was in Jessica Jones and in Luke Cage as well as Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm looking at the cast right now. Wow.
Yeah. If you could go back and watch those are amazing shows. And I really liked it. Iron Fist, I didn't really give it its just dues, but I really loved all the rest of them that came out. And then I was really sad when Luke Cage couldn't follow up with more. And
Yeah, I'm gonna finish Daredevil, and then I think I'm gonna watch The Punisher,
yep.
as long as it's still John Barenthal.
Yeah, it is. It's John Bernthal. Yeah.
And then once I finish that, we'll go from there. But I still gotta finish Daredevil.
She's
But
got
I'm
a lot of
really
watching to do.
I do, yeah.
Well, that's about it for what I have for that for comic news, so that we got that out of the way. We still have quotes that we have not put out there. We've kind of mentioned a couple or a few. Is there anything else that you didn't say that you liked?
No, I said the two that we talked about, We Own You Now, and the Junior Varsity Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we already talked about the, dime store Captain America. I only have one left, and that would be from Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. And this is what she had to state to them when they approached her in the Avengers Tower. She because I think Bucky states it about being how righteousness that she is. And she goes, well, righteousness without power is an opinion.
Yeah.
So
That was a good one.
That was a good quote to pull.
You picked up some really good ones.
I tried to. But Google is my friend because everybody put this on IMDb, everybody. Do a little research, and people have seen the movie so many times in the theater. I only got it to see it once, but I was taking a lot of mental notes. And then, yes, I'm that freak because I went to a 12 p.m. showing and there was only about maybe 16 of us or 18 of us in the theater, which was pretty cool. But I got the recliner. I got to see it in Dolby Atmos.
Oh, I love those.
So I had like a seat. I wasn't near anybody. I literally, because there was some decent light in there, I always have a notepad. So if you see some crazy bald looking dude in Danbury in the EMC with a notepad and pen,
that's just Mark.
It's just me. Anyhow, I think that is about it for our coverage. We do recommend that you go see it if you haven't seen it yet. But if you do have any feedback, and we'll go into feedback before you guys could, find out where you could hear us elsewhere. if you want to send us feedback, I did put it out there in a post. Obviously, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/panels to pixels. And we're also Instagram as well, panels to pixels podcast. Literally at panels to pixels podcast. So whatever's on Facebook will be on Instagram. So just leave your comments. I'll state, hey, we're covering it this week. Leave your comments and thoughts down below. We'll read them. I didn't get anything really of substance. A lot of people were just saying we loved it. We loved the post. Maybe they'll come back and tell us again later on. We'll talk about it next time we'll record.
Yeah.
But you could just leave it there. You could email us if you want a traditional email. You could send that to panels to pixels podcast. It's panels to pixels 1@gmail.com. So it's panels 2 is spelled out TO, pixels, and the number 1@gmail.com. Just write out your thoughts. We'll read them. Like I said, if it pertains to this particular movie and we're recording later on for another one or another show or something that we just decide to do out of the blue, please do so and we'll read it. If you don't feel like the need to read, a lot of people like to record themselves as like notation, and you can send that as an attachment in the email and we'll play it. So it's as if you're on the podcast. We could be heard on YouTube as well, or seen on YouTube. We have our YouTube podcast. So it's if you listen to your podcast through YouTube, that's how we could be heard or seen. We also get feedback through that as well. So we do take the comments and then we state them as well. So you could do that. That's another way to get in contact with us. We could be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice that you're using. Obviously, there are rating and reviews for Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please do so. We do get comments through Spotify, so that's another way. But if there's a rating and review, please be nice if you can. 5 stars are always welcome, but I always tell people just be honest. And if you like what we do, please talk about it. Leave a notation based upon that. I think we have a total of 18 reviews, which is pretty cool. So, yeah. And I have to thank you guys for doing that. So we're at that point in the podcast of where can listeners hear you, Becky?
Well, I can be heard here on occasion. Adrenaline Cinema podcast on occasion, and I do have thank you to Mark and Pirate Core Entertainment, my very own podcast called What's On Tonight. We just finished covering the first season of the HBO Max hit The Pit, starring the amazing Noah Wyle, and in a couple of weeks we are going to start covering The Better Sister, which can be found on Amazon Prime. I believe it airs May 29th. So please check us out. It's What's On Tonight podcast.
Awesome. As always, you could hear me on Panels to Pixels podcast. Steve, Rob, myself, Becky, anybody else who likes to jump on and have fun talking about these comics adapted to TV, film, and animation. I'm looking to see what we could do next. We'll let you guys know. I'm trying not to put out like less and less content. I'm trying to put out more content for you guys, but I'm trying to figure it out and see who wants to jump on and talk about certain things. I know the last time me and Rob were talking about Brave New World, I mentioned that I was going back in time to watch the old late 1970s and early 1980s version of Captain America, and he just went, "Oh God." But I love going back in time and looking at that old stuff that I used to love when I was a kid, grew up on, because that's all we had. But we'll let you know when that comes up. You could hear me on Adrenaline Cinema podcast as well. We have a few things that we're working on. I already mentioned that we're going to try to cover Rad. I have to get in touch with my buddy Rob Muir about covering that, as well as on the music podcast, Pirate Core Music Podcast. He and I are going to cover 50 years of Iron Maiden, so we're going to go over that whenever we can. But look and stay tuned for more stuff to come on those two particular podcasts. As always, check out all the other podcasts that are in the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast Network or the Pyrocore Entertainment Network. Obviously, I haven't gotten to the website. I'm still under training to try to get the website built. They have new AI stuff on there that I'm like not familiar with, so I have to really go into these videos. I'm not very well when learning certain things, but especially when it's new. But please bear with us. But I will always plug, and as well, other stuff that is on the Pyrocore Entertainment Network, just like Dinner with Her with Mandy and her friends, as they discuss women in history that are unique and very wonderful women. And she does a dinner dish or food dish, right, Becky?
Yeah, she serves a dinner that either was a favorite of the person, the woman in history that's being discussed, or something that relates to their culture. She and I did Eartha Kitt, and we got to enjoy some delicious rabbit.
Awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. Check it out. It's Dinner for Her.
Any podcast recommendations you could throw out there for everybody?
I do. I want to recommend Run for Your Lives. It's Daphne and Paige. I don't watch a lot of horror movies, so haven't heard a lot of their episodes, but they recently covered the original, the OG Children of the Corn, and that is remains one of my all-time favorite horror movies. And so I had a chance to listen to that. It was really cool. So I definitely recommend, especially for you horror lovers out there, to check out Run for Your Lives. And then I also want to recommend the Mandy, who Mark just mentioned with Dinner for Her, Penny and myself are covering with Podcastica right now via Murder Magnets, Poker Face.
Awesome. Yeah, you could find those two podcasts on the Podcastica website, podcastica.com. Check out those two particular podcasts. I should be on a Run for Your Lives podcast soon, talking about Godzilla.
Awesome.
So I think we're doing -1, and then we will be talking X-Kong eventually as well. So you could hear my voice there as well, and me gush over my favorite kaiju monster in the world, Godzilla.
You love some Godzilla, y'all.
That I do. I also recommend, it's not on Podcastica, that would be Buffalo. And you could hear Daphne, Paige, Jeff, and Jerry. And Jerry you'll know from Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, from when we cover the Apes movies from the 70s and 80s. Or no, 70s, 60s, and 70s, actually. They do their little talk about games and stuff like that. And usually it's just casual talk. And sometimes I think with all the puns, they like to punish Daphne a lot in that particular show. But it's a blast to listen to them. And they have other people there as well. So check that out. I believe our friend Ben Beck will be back with Wilhelm and putting out more content there. He's got a lot in the pipeline. He had not reached out to me, so you might not hear me on there, but I do recommend everybody check out Ben Beck on Wilhelm Podcast. All you have to do is check it out, wilhelm.com. Anyhow, that's it for the show, and I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Becky.
Same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels Podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. Bye-bye, everybody.
Good night.